All right, so today we're going to be taking a deep dive into Jonathan Evison's The Heart of Winter.
Sounds good.
Um, and, those excerpts he sent me,
Yeah.
those are what we'll be working with today. And I think our mission today should be to sort of give listeners a taste of the
Yeah.
book.
A taste without the spoilers,
Right?
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, without spoiling
I
anything.
like it.
So let's just jump right in, I guess.
Sounds good.
So the story is about Abe and Ruth Winter.
Okay.
They're a couple. And we first meet Abe on the eve of his 90th birthday.
Wow.
And he's pretty convinced that this winter is going to be his last.
Oh, wow.
But he's facing it with this really interesting sense of humor.
Yeah. It's funny how Evison uses humor to deal with such a heavy topic like death.
Yeah, it's dark humor, too.
It is very dark.
But, especially at his birthday party, all of Abe's jokes seem to be his way of just deflecting anxiety about dying.
I see that.
Like his own anxieties.
Right.
And even the anxieties of the people around him.
Yeah, makes sense.
So he's all about tying up loose ends, making sure everything is in order for after he's gone.
Practical.
Yeah. But under that, you can see that he's worried about Ruth and their children.
Makes sense.
And how they'll manage without him.
Yeah. That's understandable.
Yeah, he doesn't always show it, but it's there.
It's interesting because while Abe is focused on all that, getting ready to die and everything,
Right.
Ruth is hiding something big.
Oh.
Yeah, she got a bad medical diagnosis, but she's not telling Abe.
Oh, wow.
Or the kids.
So they're both dealing with mortality,
Right.
but in totally different ways.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I think so.
And then on top of all that, we see how Abe and Ruth first met.
Oh, yeah.
And it was on a blind date,
Okay.
and they were totally mismatched.
Really?
Yeah. She was a liberal arts student, and he was all about business.
So how did they end up together?
Right.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, what even sparked a connection between these two people?
Yeah.
Evison doesn't really tell us,
Right.
at least not right away, but you can tell there's more to it than just first impressions.
For sure.
And then they moved to Bainbridge Island.
Okay.
And it seems like that really affected Ruth,
Interesting.
in a bad way.
Yeah, how so?
It seems like she felt trapped there.
Mm.
Like she had to give up a lot of her own dreams
Okay.
for the family.
Yeah.
It makes you think about all the conflicts that can happen in a long-term relationship.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, bam, out of nowhere, we find out about Ruth's affair.
What?
Yeah, with this guy, Leonard,
Oh, wow.
the greenhouse builder.
No way.
I know, right? I did not see that coming.
It really changes things.
For sure.
I mean, for the plot, obviously. But it also says a lot about their marriage.
Definitely.
And Abe's reaction to it is really interesting.
Yeah, it's not even anger
Right.
so much as just quiet contemplation.
Yeah.
Like he's thinking about his own part in Ruth's unhappiness.
Hmm.
Did he even understand her needs?
It makes you wonder.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so then there's their kids.
Okay.
Family stuff is always complicated.
Always.
And the Winters are no exception.
Of course.
Anne is their daughter.
Okay.
And she is like the classic rebellious teenager.
Oh, yeah.
Always pushing the boundaries.
Uh-huh.
She's seeing this guy, Gonzo.
Gonzo.
Yeah, and you can just imagine how Abe feels about that.
Oh, I bet.
Like every time Gonzo's name comes up, Abe's blood pressure just shoots up.
That classic father-daughter thing, those generational clashes.
Yeah, they just see the world in totally different ways.
Absolutely.
And then there's Karen,
Okay.
Abe and Ruth's daughter,
Uh-huh.
but she's passed away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And even though we don't get all the details,
Right.
you can tell that her death really affected the whole family.
Yeah.
It's like this weight hanging over them.
Yeah. I can see that.
And then Ruth has this midlife awakening.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she finds this community at this place called the Streamliner Diner.
The Streamliner.
Yeah. And it's full of all these strong, independent women. And it's like a catalyst for her to explore these parts of herself that she had kind of buried,
I see.
It's more than just a diner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it symbolizes this space where she can just be herself.
I get that.
Yeah, she can break free from all those traditional roles.
Right.
And just explore her own needs.
That makes sense.
Which is totally different from Abe's world.
Yeah.
He's all about stability and routine. So, of course, there's friction.
Right.
Abe is very traditional.
Uh-huh.
And he needs to be in control.
Yeah.
So he doesn't really understand Ruth's need for independence.
Of course.
It actually kind of scares him. Especially her friendship with this woman, Tiana.
Oh.
Yeah. Tiana's like, Abe is not.
Okay.
She's free-spirited and unconventional.
Uh-huh.
And it makes you think about, what is Ruth really looking for? You know?
Yeah, is it just friendship or is there something more?
Exactly.
Evison keeps you guessing.
He does.
Yeah.
And it makes you want to read more.
Absolutely.
Just to figure it all out.
Yeah. I know the feeling.
So Abe doesn't really like all these changes in Ruth.
Yeah.
But to be fair, he does try.
Really?
Yeah, he goes to therapy with her. Tries to be interested in the things she's interested in.
Okay.
Even if he doesn't always get it.
Right.
But it's slow.
Yeah.
And sometimes awkward.
Uh-huh.
But you see him growing.
Okay.
Like he's finally starting to see Ruth as her own person.
Yeah.
And not just as like an extension of himself.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this story so interesting, I think.
It is interesting.
Yeah, it's about how we change over time.
Right.
And how those changes affect our relationships.
Absolutely.
Especially the people we're closest to.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and it's not like a fairy tale, you know.
No.
It's messy and complicated, like real life.
Yeah. Real relationships are rarely simple.
Right. So all this is happening on Bainbridge Island.
Okay.
Which isn't just a setting.
Right.
It's like a character, too.
How so?
It's this beautiful, idyllic place, seemingly far away from all the chaos of the world.
Yeah.
But just like Abe and Ruth, it has its own secrets.
Interesting.
And its own problems.
Okay.
It represents both the good and the bad of the life they've built together.
Yeah.
And I love how Evison brings in these big historical events, like the Vietnam War and the counterculture movement, to show how the world is changing and how that affects their family.
Yeah.
You can really see it with Gonzo.
Right.
He's like this symbol of the generation gap. Everything he does challenges Abe's worldview.
Wow.
Yeah, he's like disruption,
Right.
reminding Abe that the world is moving on, whether he likes it or not.
Yeah.
So you have this clash between the old ways and the new.
Yeah, I see that.
Which is something that probably a lot of families were dealing with back then.
Definitely.
Yeah, and even today, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
It makes you think about how we deal with change.
Absolutely.
As a society.
Yeah.
And even within our own families.
Yeah.
But even with all the drama.
Right.
Evison still finds these really beautiful moments.
Really?
Yeah, like when Abe finally accepts that Ruth needs her independence. Or how he takes care of her when she gets sick. Even that small thing.
Yeah.
Where he brings her old journal down from the attic.
Oh, wow.
It's these little acts of kindness that really show how much they love each other.
Right.
Like even after all these years.
Yeah.
They still care.
It's really touching.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And then there's the loss of Karen.
Right. Their daughter.
Yeah, we only see glimpses of it.
Yeah.
But you can tell it's a big part of their story.
Right.
Like it's shaped their family in a major way. Evison doesn't make it sensational or anything. He just focuses on how they're dealing with the grief.
Right.
Which is really powerful.
Yeah. I can see that.
It makes you wonder how each of them was affected.
Yeah.
And what secrets they might still be holding on to.
Yeah, for sure.
Evison gives you just enough to make you curious.
Right.
Without giving everything away.
Yeah. That's how he keeps you hooked.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so captivating.
Absolutely.
So we've only scratched the surface here.
Yeah, just a taste.
But I think we've done a good job.
Yeah, I think so too.
Of giving listeners a sense of what this book is about.
Definitely.
What stands out to you so far?
It's hard to pick just one thing.
I know.
But I'd say the way Evison connects Abe's fear of dying with Ruth's secret struggle.
Right.
That's really interesting to me.
Yeah, they're both on these journeys.
Totally.
But they're so different.
Yeah.
I want to see how they both play out.
Same here.
And there's still the mystery of Karen.
Yeah.
How did her death change things for everyone?
Right.
What are they still hiding?
Good questions.
Yeah. But for now, I guess we'll leave everyone with those questions.
Okay.
And that sense of mystery.
Sounds good.
We'll dive deeper in the next part of our deep dive.
Looking forward to it.
So stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. You know, it's funny how as we go through these excerpts, we start to see all these little changes in Abe and Ruth's relationship.
Yeah, like over time.
Yeah, like in the beginning, it's all about that spark, you know? Building a life together, the excitement of a new family.
Yeah.
But as the years go by, you start to feel this distance between them.
Yeah, like they're living separate lives almost.
Yeah, and it's not just because of daily life, you know?
Right.
It's also how they see things.
Like their perspectives.
Yeah, Ruth loves art. She's curious about the world.
Yeah.
And she starts feeling trapped in Abe's world.
Right, like Abe's world is all practical and kind of rigid.
Yeah, exactly.
So she needs more. than just being a wife and mother.
Right.
She needs something else to make her feel fulfilled.
Exactly.
And that's what leads her to the streamliner.
The diner.
Yeah, it's more than just a diner, though.
Right.
It's like a symbol of her freedom.
Interesting.
Yeah, a place where she can escape all those expectations and be herself.
That makes sense.
And it's so different from Abe's world.
Yeah, like we were saying. He's all about stability and order.
Right. And of course, that causes problems.
Of course.
Abe can't understand
Yeah.
why Ruth needs this independence. It makes him feel threatened.
Especially her friendship with Tiana.
Right. Gianna is everything Abe isn't.
Yeah.
She's so free and unpredictable.
Yeah, I get that.
And it makes you wonder what Ruth really wants.
Right. Is she just looking for a friend, or is it more than that?
Yeah, exactly. Like, is this about her sexuality?
That's a good question.
We don't know for sure.
Evison keeps us guessing.
He does.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant.
It is.
So yeah, Abe doesn't like these changes in Ruth at all.
Right.
But he tries. Yeah. He goes to therapy with her. He tries to be interested in the things she likes.
Okay.
Even if he doesn't understand them.
Yeah.
It's not always easy.
Of course not.
It's awkward sometimes.
Right.
But he's growing.
Yeah.
He's finally seeing Ruth as a person.
Yeah, a separate person.
Yeah. Her own person.
Not just his wife.
Right. And I think that's the heart of this story.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's about how we change in relationships and how we adapt to those changes.
Right. It's not easy.
It's not easy at all.
No.
It's messy and complicated, like real life.
Exactly. Real relationships are never perfect.
And all this is happening on Bainbridge Island.
Right.
Which, like we were saying, is more than just a setting.
Right. It's practically other character.
Yeah, it's this beautiful, peaceful place. But it also has its own secrets and problems.
Interesting.
Just like Abe and Ruth.
Yeah.
I love how Evison brings in those big historical events.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
And the counterculture movement to show how the world is changing around them.
That's cool.
Yeah, and how those changes affect their family.
Like Gonzo.
Yeah, Gonzo's a perfect example.
Yeah, he's like the opposite of Abe.
Yeah, he represents everything that challenges Abe's values.
Right. And that creates conflict.
Yeah, it's that classic clash between generations.
Yeah, you see that a lot.
It's a conflict that a lot of families probably went through back then.
Absolutely.
And even today, you know.
For sure.
It makes you think about how we handle change.
Yeah, both as individuals and as a society.
But even with all the drama and conflict,
right.
Evison still gives us these really beautiful moments.
Like what?
Like when Abe finally accepts that Ruth needs her own space. And her own life.
Yeah.
And how tenderly he cares for her as her health starts to decline.
Yeah, that's really sweet.
And even just that small gesture of bringing her that old journal.
Right, from the attic.
Yeah.
It's like a little love letter.
It is.
Yeah.
It shows that even after all these years, they still love each other.
Right, and then there's Karen.
Yeah, their daughter.
It's so sad.
It is. But Evison handles it really well.
Yeah, how so?
He doesn't dwell on the details of her death.
Okay.
He focuses on the impact it had on the family.
Yeah.
And how they're all coping with the grief.
It's subtle but effective.
Yeah. It really makes you think about how loss can shape a family.
For sure.
And you're left wondering how each of them was affected.
Yeah.
And what they might still be hiding.
Right. It's like there are all these unspoken things that are just below the surface.
And Evison gives you just enough to make you want to know more.
Yeah. He's a master at that.
He is.
It's what makes his writing so compelling.
It really is.
So what would you say is the most interesting part for you so far?
That's tough.
I know there's so much to unpack.
There is. But I think for me, it's how Evison connects these big historical events with the personal lives of Abe and Ruth.
Yeah, like how those big changes in the world affect their marriage and their family.
Yeah, and how they deal with all that change.
Right, both as individuals and as a couple.
That's what I'm really interested in.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And also those little moments of beauty.
Yeah, those small acts of love and kindness.
Right, they make you realize that even when things are tough, there's still hope.
Yeah, and that love can endure.
Exactly.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah, we have. But there's still so much to talk about.
Right, we're just getting started.
So stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive.
Can't wait.
You know, it's amazing how Evison shows Abe and Ruth getting older.
Yeah, like over time.
Yeah, and their family, too. It's not just how they look, though.
Right.
It's how they think and what they care about.
Like their priorities change.
Yeah.
and how they see themselves.
And each other.
Right.
It's like they're constantly evolving.
Yeah, I like that.
Like take Abe, for instance. At the beginning, he's so ambitious.
Right. Driven.
He wants to be successful.
Build his business.
Provide for his family.
Yeah, that's Abe.
But as he gets older, that drive starts to fade.
Okay.
He starts to get disillusioned with the world.
Interesting.
Like he's seen it all,
yeah,
and he's not impressed.
He's got a lot of opinions.
He does.
About everything. Politics, the economy.
You name it.
It's kind of funny, actually.
It is.
But also kind of sad.
Yeah, it's like he's struggling with getting older.
Yeah, like he doesn't know what his place is anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's Ruth.
Yeah.
Her health is declining.
Right. And there are those hints that Abe might be getting Alzheimer's.
It's really hard to see them both going through that.
It is, especially after everything they've already been through.
Yeah, life hasn't been easy for them.
But even with all that,
yeah,
their love is still so strong.
I know, it's amazing, right?
Yeah, like even though their bodies and minds are failing, they still have each other.
It's like their love is what keeps them going.
Yeah, I see that.
I keep thinking about that scene with their dog Megs.
At the vet.
Yeah. She's getting old too.
Right.
And it's like a mirror of what Abe and Ruth are going through.
Yeah, all the aches and pains.
Yeah, and just accepting that they're not young anymore.
It's a reminder that even when you're old,
yeah,
there's still beauty in the simple things.
I love that.
Like just being with someone you love.
Yeah.
Sharing a look, a touch.
Yeah, that quiet understanding.
It's really powerful.
That's what makes this book so special.
It is.
It's about real life.
Yeah, all the messiness and complications.
But also the love and resilience.
Exactly.
And the connections that make us human.
It's a story that stays with you.
It does.
You keep thinking about it even after you're done reading.
Yeah, it makes you appreciate life more.
Yeah, and the people in it.
If you're looking for a book that will make you feel everything.
Oh, yeah.
The Heart of Winter, is it?
It's a good one.
It will make you laugh and cry.
And think.
It reminds us that even as we get older, and the world keeps changing,
right,
the human heart is still capable of so much.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So that was our deep dive into The Heart of Winter.
Yeah, that was fun.
Well,
hopefully we didn't spoil anything.
Yeah, no spoilers.
But we gave everyone a taste.
Exactly enough to make them want to read it.
Yeah, I hope so.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Happy reading.